What's up, Metaverse? This is AJ, and I am here with a kind of unique video that I'm actually recording right now. Uh, so I was just scrolling through some articles. I usually, whenever I got the free time to do some recordings and stuff like that, whether it's by myself or with the guys in the Metaverse, I'm usually like I search through Twitter, see what's trending on Twitter. From there, I'll usually go into the entertainment tab to see if there's anything going on, anything noteworthy to talk about. Nothing really happened today. Nothing's going on right now. Um, the Venom trailer came out. That's pretty much it. Looks okay. And then I usually move on to like Google, and I'll Google like gaming news and movie news, TV show news in general, media. And then like I'll scroll through comic book. And then there comes times where mostly I scroll through Kotaku. So what I usually do is I'll go to Kotaku.com because Kotaku.com is garbage. This is literally one of the worst news outlets ever, but they have some pretty funny stories. They have some pretty funny opinionated pieces that then tie in with actual news. So usually I'll go to Kotaku to get some news, and sometimes I'll rip straight off from the article and I'll show that article and we'll talk about it through there. Or I'll see what they're talking about and I'll go to a better article. To kind of just use that article. But I was scrolling through Kotaku and I noticed that on Saturday, which was 2 days ago, because today's the 2nd that I'm recording this of August, 2021, and they ranked the main Resident Evil games from worst to best. Now I'm assuming these are the numbered titles, including Code Veronica. I don't think this is going to include Revelations and Revelations 2, but I could be, unless they just mean they're not going to rank like Survivor, like Dead Aim and stuff like that. By main Resident Evil games, I'm assuming they mean maybe the canon, the lore filled ones. We'll see. I haven't seen anything. I saw let's rank the main Resident Evil games from worst to best. I saw that it was by Kotaku, and I was like, cool. I'm just gonna open up this article and I'm gonna leave it untouched. I have another list here, the 15 best games for the PlayStation 4. I haven't looked at that one either. Might do a video on that one as well. But let's just see what Kotaku, excuse me, has to say. What they think the worst, the best Resident Evil games are. As you may know, I go by AJ on the Metaverse of Gaming, which is pretty much my name in general. But I do go by Resident of Raccoon on Twitch. I do go by Resident of Raccoon on Twitter, and I do go by Resident of Raccoon on everything else that I'm on. Yeah, it's you already know how much Resident Evil means to me and how much home it hits with me. So I am super stoked and excited to go into this. Let's let's see what Kotaku thinks the worst main Resident Evil game is. Okay, pecking order. Oh, it's a slideshow. All right. Oh, it's a slideshow. Okay, hold on. Let's read this. Let's read this. Resident Evil series is arguably the most successful and popular video game horror franchise of all time. I agree. It spawned more movies, spin-offs, and comics than I can count, and has easily cemented itself in mainstream pop culture as those zombie games with dogs. I don't think that's why it cemented itself, but okay. But not all Resident Evil games are amazing. No, they're not. So the time has come to grab our shotguns, green herbs, and typewriter ink ribbons and rank all the games in the main series from worst to best. The ground rules. For this list, we're only focusing on the main games in the series. So spin-off titles like, okay, here we go. So Revelations and Dead Aim get a stay of execution. We're only judging the original releases. So while I love the remake of Resident Evil 2, I won't be raving about it here today. Oh, that's doo-doo. Finally, we're staying away from multiplayer and handheld titles too. This is a list purely about the number of games, with 2 exceptions that fans can probably predict. With all of that out of the way, let's begin with the worst mainline Resident Evil game, which means remake isn't in this, right? So, remake 1 and 2 immediately top the top like 5, top 3. So, Resident Evil remake alone is the best Resident Evil ever made. I don't care what anyone says. Resident Evil Remake 2002 is the greatest Resident Evil of all time, and I will never argue with anyone because it's a fact and it should never be argued. But let's start the slideshow. Oh, okay. All right, yeah. I mean, it's hard not like if we're not counting Umbrella Corps, and all that. Resident Evil 6 definitely is the worst in the main titles. It's funny because you can go back to our tier list, and I was very opinionated in that tier list. We can go back to our tier list, and I don't remember where we ranked 6. I think I tried to rank 6 a lot lower than the other guys. I think Zero might have been the one that wanted to rank it a little higher. I'm not too sure, but I agree. If we're counting the numbered titles and like Code Veronica, yeah, 6 is the worst. 6 is the definitely worst. We got 8 games. Code Veronica makes it 9, right? So, oh, it's 10 because of 0. So, yeah, 6 is definitely the worst. It's the one I would play the least out of all of the games. Wow, they just no. Like the game. Okay, so Resident Evil Original, Resident Evil 1 is not a bad game. It's not a great game either. For the time, it was a great game. This game did not age well at all. I would play it over 5. Personally, I would play it over 5. I think it's better than 5. I think, yeah. Yeah, I'd play this over 5. I don't think it's amazing. Like I said, it's fun to go back and revisit like the voice acting and revisit the set pieces and just to see how it all started. Like it's just a fun game to play, but it's nothing amazing. Like I said, it hasn't aged. It hasn't aged well at all. So I'm not gonna agree with this, but I'm not upset over this entry. So we'll be fine. We'll live. Okay, see, like I definitely okay, this list is going really well so far, and I'm kinda worried. Yeah. I would have done 651. They did 615. If 5 is more fun to play. So maybe in a gameplay sense, yes, 5 is better than 1. And personally, I would rather play 1, but I can't deny that 5 is a lot more fun than 1. So that's my bias in speaking and stuff like that. But I'm glad that 5 and 6 are on the bottom 3. Where they fucking belong, in garbage tier. I do not agree with this. This is Resident Evil 0. When people bash Resident Evil 0, it's a case of usually the game's too hard. Or the game requires me to think too much. People hate. Actually, let's read this. The problem with ranking Resident Evil games is that pretty quickly you start having to rank some good stuff lower than the even better stuff. And then all of that rank lower than the downright great games. In other words, it's not easy. RE0 is where this feels most troubling, as the game featured gorgeous visuals and some genuinely terrifying moments. The segments set on a claustrophobic train are tense even today, but it ends up down here because its narrative goes off the rails toward the end, and the companion AI can often be annoying. I don't think the AI is that bad, actually. I think this is a case of one of the best AIs in games, especially since you can control them. Like, you can move them around with the stick. So if you want them to shoot some zombies, you can equip them. Like, it's not like Sheva, right? So like Sheva, she will only use the handgun as long as she has handgun bullets. If you set her to attack, she'll whip the shotgun out and waste all of her fucking bullets, all of her shotgun shells. The AI doesn't understand when to use the handgun, when to use the shotgun, when to use a rifle, when to use the machine gun. Billy, the good thing about Billy is Billy will always defend himself with what he has, right? If you want Billy to use his handgun, you just set him to use his handgun at any time, and he would use that to defend himself. And most of the time, at least when I've played, Billy and Rebecca have done their job, right? If I'm in a room with a bunch of hunters or zombies or spiders or the little roach thingies, they've done their job. They've helped me clear out those rooms. So I can't complain too much about the AI. I don't think the AI is bad at all. Even when they're in the way, they move. And you can just move them yourself, like with the right analog. You can just move them yourself. People complain about the lack of inventory. That, oh, I left the hook shot in the main hall and I need it in this room. Like, tough, you know? I always leave my shit in the main hall because I know that I can always just connect back to the main hall. Every room connects to the main hall. Every room connects to each other. You can gather shortcuts easily between rooms. The design of the training facility and the design of the train too. Much more of the training facility because the train is streamlined. Like they said, it's claustrophobic. It's streamlined. The train is designed so that you have to carry everything with you, right? And the order in which you pick up certain items and use them and discard them helps you in the train gather that much easily. Like get rid of it, pick it up, carry that stuff. Like it's much better in the train. When you get to the training facility, you notice that the direction that you're supposed to take, like the training facility, you can go about it any different way that you'd like. I have a set path that I usually follow, and that set path that I usually follow is streamlined so that I don't have to worry about picking up certain items. I can just drop shit in certain areas and always know that I can go back to that. People just don't like to think. And I think Resident Evil 0 requires people to think too much, and I think it requires people to actually try and adapt to certain situations too much. And I feel like people just can't handle that. Whereas a sense where it was like, oh, I could just put it in the inventory box and it'll be teleported to another inventory box whenever I need it. And then it's like, that's not how life works. If you can't carry certain shit in real life, you put it down and you have to come pick it up later. You know, you don't have a teleporting item box. That's why when I play Remake, the real survival mode, that's like the definitive way to play that game. I usually always play that game. Unless I just want to have a casual run through, I'm usually always playing real survival. I love that fucking mode. It's so much fun. So, I disagree with this wholeheartedly. I would rather play 0 than 7 and 8. So, bro. All right. Okay. I would rather play 3 than 0. Okay. That's a given because 3 is amazing. Right? So Resident Evil 3 is fantastic. Knowing that Remake and 2 Remake are not on this list, I already know what my number 1 is. Okay? It's not going to spoil this list because I doubt it'll be number 1. Number 1's RE2. Original. RE3 is top 3. Hands down. If we're talking about, if we're not including Remake and Remake 2, 2, 3, 4, I think are my top 3. Right? I can already tell you which one's going to be number 1. I bet you RE4 is number 1. But this game is leagues better. Actually, not even 4. 2, 3 Code Veronica. This game is better than 7 and 8. And I think what's aggravating me in this list is that 8 should have been on the list already. I think it should have been 6, 5, 1, 8. And then maybe 7. Or Code Veronica. I don't know. It's hard. Not Code Veronica. 0, I meant. This RE3 started life as a spin-off. After some shakeups at Capcom, it was promoted to the next main entry on the original PlayStation. Even with this strange origin and its atypical development cycle, RE3 ended up being a solid take on what we now see as the classic RE formula. It also gave players new insight into the events of Resident Evil 2, introduced the iconic Nemesis enemy, and brought back fan favorite Jill Valentine as the pro tag. Not bad for a game that was planned to be a spinoff. This game is amazing, right? So this game is short. No, everyone knows that. This game's like 50 minutes. If you can bust through it. I think if you just literally bust through it casually, it takes about a good hour and a half. Speedrun wise, this game's like 49 to 50 minutes. It's a very short game. I think the game's like 5 hours for your first time, 5 to like 7 hours. I think remake or the RE3 remake. Sorry guys, I'm tired from work. RE3 remake is longer than RE3. This game has tons of replayability in its different branches and like cutscenes and ways you can go and play the game. It has the best combat and action out of the original 3. It has the best antagonist in Nemesis. This is the best antagonist ever in Resident Evil. I mean, he's in fucking Dead by Daylight. Most iconic, most memorable. Has the best version of Jill. Even in the 3 remake, Jill is amazing. This game is awesome. It's not, yeah, it's top 3. If you're not counting RE1 and 2 remake, it's top 3. There's no way 7 and 8 are better than RE3. I am sorry. You see, this is where I get pissed off, because it's a good sign that RE2 we haven't seen it yet, but like this is a better game than 8. I'm sorry, Resident Evil 8 is not RE, man. It's a fun game. It's a good game, right? It's like RE4, but RE4 does more to be a RE game than 8 does. Chris is like the most RE that game has, and the castle section. Code Veronica is definitely top 3, if not top 5. This game is amazing. It's long. Like, this game can be really long, but man, no fucking way is this worse than 7 and 8. I'm sorry, 7 and 8 should have already been on this list. Here's Village. But Village gave us Lady Dimitrescu, and that's a special gift that I can't ignore. Plus, it was just a solid horror shooter that I expect I'll replay a few times over the next few years. I haven't touched this game since like the second week it was out. And for some context, I played RE2 remake every day for a year. This game is not a good RE game. It's a great game. Don't get me wrong. It's a fun game. If you want to play a game and you just want to have some fun and be challenged for a little bit and get scared, this is a good game. This is not a good RE game. And I will die on that hill. I will fucking die on that hill. This game is not better than 0. It's not better than Code Veronica, and it's definitely not better than 3. If you think that this game is better than Code Veronica 3 and 0, you're on crack. You're on some fucking crack. Like some real good fucking crack. Or you're a fucking millennial that doesn't know any better. Which I'm assuming are the people who mostly write for Kotakus. Oh, we're done. We are so done! We're so done! No fucking way! No fucking way! They ranked 7 higher than 2? They ranked 4 higher than 2. Granted, I knew 4 was going to be the number 1 on this list. It's the number 1 on everybody's list. Resident Evil 4 is amazing, and it's revolutionary. It ain't better than 2. I'm sorry, Resident Evil 2, like I said, if you're not counting the remakes, Resident Evil 2 is the best in the series. Even with Remake 2, right? So if we're counting the remakes, Resident Evil 2 is the second best Resident Evil in the series. It's Remake for the first one, 2, Remake 2. Those are the best 3 Resident Evils ever made. This since we're not including remakes, is the best Resident Evil in the series. There's a reason why people clamored for a fucking remake for this game for over 15 years. Okay? There's a reason why people wanted this fucking. There's a reason why people still play and speedrun this game to this day. I'm about to play this game right now because I'm so pissed. Resident Evil 2 is amazing. It's a fucking amazing. This is how you do a sequel. This is how you make a Resident Evil game. This is everything. Everything. I don't even think there's anything wrong with this game. It's literally perfect. This game is literally fucking perfect. I can't name a flaw. I can't name one fucking flaw with this game. Just like with Remake, the first one, I can't name one fucking flaw on it. Not one. Not one. Yeah, you're on crack, Kotaku. You're on fucking crack. And it's crazy because I like RE7. I really like RE7. I like RE7 way more than 8. RE7, I don't know if it's top 10. I don't know. I would have to go through a list one day. I would have to make my own list. This is not better than 2. At all. Some of you will be surprised that one of the FPS era Resident Evil games made it up this high. But here's the thing. RE7 rules. It is one of the scariest games in the series, feels like a clean break from the overbearing lore of the past games, and introduces a whole new style of RE gameplay. This is a franchise that has always evolved over time, maybe more than any other popular series, so it made sense that Capcom would shake things up after the lackluster reaction to Resident Evil 6. This is the game that brought me back into the series, and one thing that I love to replay whenever I need a good scare. This game, in its last like 3 hours, is garbage. Once you kill Jack in his final form, I guess, the big monster blob thing he becomes, and you save Zoe and you get to decide who you want to give the vaccine to. Right after that, this game is garbage. It becomes a literal dog shit. The whole boat section of this game is fucking unbearable. It is unbearable. It's so bad. And then you kind of come back into the game to do the Eevee fight, and then it gets good again, and the ending's fine. But then they bring back Chris. Village and 7, what does it says? The overbearing lore of the past games, but it brings back fucking Chris. Cool. Whatever. And Chris still is the fucking hero of the series, even though Ethan... And then you kill Ethan in Village and Chris is still alive. Cool, whatever, man. Whatever you fucking say, guys. Whatever you fucking say. And here it is. Yeah. The top of the list. Kotaku's top 3 Resident Evil games are 4, 7, and 2. How much RE4 dick is gonna get sucked? People suck this game's dick so hard, and it's like I said, it's an amazing game. It deserves its praise. And when we had our discussion on the most revolutionary games ever, I named RE4. I named RE4 mostly because of its over-the-shoulder gameplay that revolutionized a whole genre, basically. But man, in its own series, this ain't it. This is not the best. It may be the best, like, gameplay-wise, and for its time, and like story-wise, but in general, like, compared to the others, the experience of it is not good. It's not as good. 2 and Remake are just too fucking... I would have definitely put 2, 3 Code Veronica, then 4. And then maybe 0 and 7. So that might have been my list. What's the next slide? It's over. Okay. Yeah. Kotaku, you're on fucking crack. You are on fucking crack. You think Village is better than 3, Code Veronica and 0, and then you think 7's better than 2? I would have let you slide with putting 4 in number 1 spot because everyone and their mother fucking does it. All the shills fucking do it. Because this is probably their first Resident Evil. Because the other game's too hard. So I'll let you do that. But damn, man, you're on crack, Kotaku. I hope you enjoyed my reaction to this. This is doo-doo water. It's fucking doo-doo water. I want to play Resident Evil now. I'm gonna go play some Resident Evil, maybe stream it, because I gotta get this nasty shit out of my mind and let them realize what a real fucking good Resident Evil game is. Holy shit. Holy fucking shit. This is garbage. Literal garbage.